I think everybody needs to have some really easy meals that you can make, and this is one of my favorites. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross, and this is the Cross Legacy, where I teach you how to save money on groceries. I love to have the same basic ingredients in my house all the time so I can use them to make a variety of different meals. And because we're an allergy family, for a long time I had to really focus on the ingredients in each item that I was bringing into the house. But now, since it's just Mike and I here living at the house, I don't have to worry about making gluten-free pizza crust any longer, but we do have that recipe up on the blog from when my kids lived at home and I was making it all the time. Now I find the easiest way to make personal sized pizzas are these little pita breads that I get from Costco. These come in a package of 12 and you can put them directly into your freezer and then just pull out however many you need at a time, and they don't stick together. So it works out that each pita ends up being about 35 cents a piece. Something else that I always like to have in the freezer is mozzarella cheese. And I normally get the 5-pound block of this. I got that just recently in the last couple of months, and then I divide it into cubes and put it into the freezer. When you're doing it this way, it'll actually help you save a lot of money. That 5-pound block of cheese was only $12. And then I end up dividing it into chunks that are about this size, and that is mostly because this is the perfect size for me to be able to hold in my hand as I'm shredding the cheese, but it does work out that it's about a 1/2-pound block of cheese at a time. The easiest way to shred mozzarella cheese is actually when it's still partially frozen. So if you take it out of the freezer a couple hours before dinner and it's a little bit frozen, that is okay. So I normally keep the chunks of the mozzarella cheese in the freezer in either a Ziploc bag or a stasher bag in the freezer, and it seems like we rotate through that about once every 6 months. As you're shredding the cheese, if you shred extra, you can store it in a glass jar with a metal lid, and that will keep it airtight and it'll stay fresh the longest. So today we're going to make these pizzas, barbecue chicken pizzas, and I have a chicken breast left over. Normally when I go to put away the chicken breast, I will either cut it into slices or into little pieces before I freeze it, and that way it's easy to pull it out and assemble the pizzas, and it also doesn't have to be defrosted all the way to be able to make dinner. But this one might help me put away, so it's a full chicken breast. I truly believe having cooked protein ready to go in your freezer is one of the biggest things that you can do to have dinner on the table on nights that you just don't have the energy to do very much. Today I am going to be putting some red onions on this. I always laugh every single time. It's red onions and purple cabbage, and they're the same exact color. Like, who named these things? So this was cut about a week ago, and it's been in the refrigerator, again with a metal lid. The metal lid makes it completely airtight so my refrigerator doesn't smell like onions. And is this not the cutest little pepper you've ever seen? Out of all the peppers I've been using and eating the last couple weeks, this one I keep setting aside because I just think it's adorable. So at this point, these peppers are about 5 weeks old, and I just keep grabbing out whatever ones are a little bit more wrinkly than the other ones. And since I washed them when I brought them home, there's no mold spores growing on them. And in my refrigerator, these are the peppers that need to be used up next, so that's what I'm going to be using. But you can use full bell peppers on this too, and also those will stay fresh in a glass jar with a metal lid 7 to 10 days after you slice them. And I also have some chopped peppers in the freezer. So there's all kinds of different options here to be able to put on my pizza where we have the ingredients all the time here in the house. For this pizza, I'm just going to be using barbecue sauce today for the sauce, and then Mike likes it extra saucy. I normally drizzle it over the top. I just preheated the oven to 375, and we're gonna start assembling the pizzas. I have all the ingredients ready to go. The oven is on, and then this is a Pampered Chef stoneware pan that I've had probably for 20 years. And at some point I accidentally left it in the oven with the broiler on. That's why it's this black color. I just assemble these right on the pan. You can use a cookie sheet if that's what you have too. So barbecue sauce is going to go on this first. I only did about 1/4 of one of those blocks for the cheese. We'll start with that and see if we need to shred a little bit more, which we can because I have the ingredients here. We have the pita breads, the sauce, and the cheese on here. This is oftentimes when I let everybody that's here just dish up their own so they can put whatever ingredients they want on their pizzas. So I top these with the chicken with some peppers and the onions, and I just want to show how much of the chicken is left. So this was only 1 chicken breast to start with. If we were trying to stretch out our meat budget or really worried about feeding feeding our family, this is a great thing to be able to have meat still and have it in your budget. Now, the chicken that is chopped up now will end up going back into a glass container and will go into the freezer this time, so we don't get tired of having chicken day after day. This is how we're repurposing leftovers. I'm going to put this in the oven. We normally start it at 8 minutes. Sometimes they'll go all the way to 12, just until everything is warm and the cheese is melted. So we're not having to wait for the crust to bake. So it just has to get warm. I did add a little bit more cheese on the top. It does help it stick together. And then I normally, right towards the end, add the drizzle of barbecue sauce on the top. So we normally put this in the oven starting at 8 minutes and then see if it needs to go any longer. And remember, you're not having to wait for the dough to actually cook. We're just warming it up. So make sure that your meat and your veggies is how you like it and that your cheese is melted, and then you will have your lunch or dinner within like 10 minutes. So this was the size container that I had the chicken in to begin with. Normally this would be like a full meal for Mike and I when I'm trying to divide out things like taco meat. I'll do it in this size container. And this size is the smallest rectangle size from the Pyrex sets that you get at Costco. So I know that there's still about a cup of chicken in here. I could totally make chicken pot pies with this. So that container is going to go into the freezer and we will pull it out in a couple months whenever we're ready for chicken pot pies. Now, don't come after me if you're saying that's not enough chicken. I am just trying to help people that are trying to stretch out those meat budgets right now. I normally move these over to a cutting board and then cut it with my knife because I don't think we've had a pizza cutter in many, many years. So just kind of think of the different ingredients that you like for your pizzas and how you can start making a pizza container in your freezer too. We normally have like Canadian bacon and always canned pineapple around. I do like to keep like the small jars of pesto. Those are perfect for adding to pizzas too. And that way we can have the things that we need in our cabinet or in our freezer, and we can have pizzas whenever we want.